Let's talk about your car for a minute. Do you change your oil every 3,000 miles? If so, why? Now, this is probably when you're going to tell me, well, because that's what I've been told to do. And the change date is right there on my windshield, right? But here's the reality. According to Edmunds.com, changing your oil every 3,000 miles is outdated information. Today, we may only need to change it half as much as we are. Philip Reed with Edmunds.com joins us to say, stop changing your oil so often. Hi, Phil.
Hello, Connie.
So what gives? Why aren't we supposed to be changing our oil every 3,000 miles anymore?
Well, things have changed quite a lot, and people haven't realized it. Changing your oil every 3,000 miles is what our fathers told us to do, and it was good information back then. But cars are very different right now. They're engineered much better. Oil chemistry is much more advanced. And we have these wonderful things called oil change monitors that tell us exactly when to change it.
So is the oil driving this, the new car technology driving it, or both? And what do we need to know there?
Well, it's really a confluence of several things. It's the oil chemistry, but it's also car engines are made better with tighter tolerances than ever before. And also they have computers that tell us what's going on inside. So we used to have to guess whether or not it was severe or normal maintenance schedule, but now the computer makes that decision and lets us know when to change it.
So if your car's not computerized, then more than likely you're still at that 3,000, you're at the older technology. Or when is the date, or do we know when that's kind of switched over so that people at home could say, oh yeah, my car is from this year on, so I'm safe?
Yes, well, really the big change came after about the year 2000, and that was when they began to go to much longer oil changes. Before then, people may still fall under the 3,000-mile category, although in a lot of cases that's a little too often, too. And you can always experiment with it. You can have your oil analyzed by a lab, and they'll tell you exactly when you need to have it done. It's actually pretty affordable. It's only $25.
So I think one of the big questions is, why isn't this common knowledge? Why don't people tell you this?
Well, basically, the dealerships and also the quick oil change outlets are very, of course, they have a very vested interest in getting you in there every 3,000 miles, because not only can they sell you an oil change, but they can upsell you to many other things. Filters, additional work, brake jobs. So they love to see you every 3 months because they get another chance to sell you more things.
Yeah, I actually saw some research, I think it might have even been on your website, that said on average these places make another $1,800 a year just on your car by coming in every 3,000 miles. So it is huge.
Oh, it is, and it'll make a big difference to the consumer over the life of the car if you take the moment to look in the service manual and figure out exactly what you need and do that. You're not doing your car any favors by doing it more often.
Okay, so essentially by changing your oil every, let's say, 7,800 miles instead of every 3,000 miles, we have to be making a huge impact on the environment, too, because we're using half as much oil.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, most of the oil that's now is collected is transported and recycled, but in the transport of it, there's also an awful lot of runoff, and there's a lot of problems with the groundwater. So really, I mean, millions of gallons of oil, waste oil, which is highly toxic, it has a lot of heavy metals in it, are being spilled every year. And this is a good opportunity to cut back on that, save some money, so you're doing a good thing for your pocketbook and for the environment.
Okay, so we know if our car was after 2000 that we probably have one we can stretch the oil on. We need to look at the manual for that. But what about picking out an oil? Is any one oil going to get us farther than another today?
Oh, well, they do have synthetic oils now, and some of them are actually formulated for extended wear, so they can go even farther than your manufacturer recommends. This is a little tricky, though, because then you don't know how much farther to go safely. It is important to know that there's a huge margin of safety built into nearly all of these recommendations. So if you're going over, a lot of people get busy and they go over by 1,000 miles or so, it's not going to hurt your car's engine.
All right, good to know. Philip Reed, thanks so much for being with us from Edmunds.com. We appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.